Illinois and Indiana look like two identical twins of the Midwest, until you notice one invisible line that splits the American heartland in two. To the west, a global metropolis, Chicago, pulls an entire state into its orbit, a landscape of skyscrapers, suburbs, and vast, flat prairie. To the east, a decentralized state of mid-sized cities and small towns, a place that calls itself the Crossroads of America. How did two states, sharing a straight-line border, born from the same glacier-flattened earth, grow into such complete opposites? What made one state build a world-class city while the other built a network of highways? The answer upends everything you think you know about the Midwest, and it starts with the two different rivers that gave them life. Indiana's story is written by the Ohio River. For centuries, this was the great highway to the American West, the main artery of settlement before the age of canals and railroads. Its gentle current carried flatboats and keelboats from Pennsylvania, Virginia, and Kentucky, bringing a wave of settlers from the Upland South. These were not the New England Yankees who would shape Illinois. They were individualistic, self-reliant pioneers, often of Scots-Irish descent, who valued small government and local community above all else. They were not trying to build a city on a hill, they were trying to build a farm on their own piece of land. They spread out evenly across the southern and central parts of the state, building small farms and market towns, creating a landscape of dispersed, self-sufficient communities. The state's geography encouraged this. Indiana is a gentle slope, a geological ramp draining south toward the Ohio. There was no single dominant location, no natural harbor or strategic chokepoint that demanded a metropolis. The state capital, Indianapolis, was placed in the exact geographic center by design, a deliberately neutral hub for a network of roads, not a port on a Great Lake. This decision, made in 1821, cemented Indiana's destiny as a decentralized state. It has no single massive city that dwarfs all others. Instead, it has a constellation of independent mid-sized cities. Fort Wayne in the northeast, Evansville on the Ohio, South Bend in the north, each with its own distinct identity and economy. It is a state built on the idea of being a crossroads, a place you pass through, where every town is connected, but no single town is king. This southern influence and decentralized geography forged a political culture that is cautious, pragmatic, and deeply conservative. It is a state that values stability over ambition, a place where live and let live is the unofficial motto. This is not an accident. It is a direct inheritance from the Upland South's skepticism of large centralized power. Indiana's constitution, for example, strictly limits state debt, a direct reaction to the boom and bust cycles of the 19th century that ruined other states with ambitious canal and railroad projects. The state's motto, the Crossroads of America, is not just about geography. It is a statement of identity. It implies a place of transit, of practicality, of facilitating movement rather than being the destination itself. This culture prefers to solve problems at the local level, through county governments and town councils, rather than through grand top-down programs from a powerful state capital. It is a political landscape that has consistently produced pragmatic, business-minded leaders, and a state that often serves as a bellwether for the American heartland. If you are enjoying this journey into the hidden history of America, now would be a great time to subscribe to our channel. We post new videos every week exploring the stories behind the maps. Okay, back to the border. Across the state line, Illinois tells a different story. One written by Lake Michigan and the Illinois River. The rivers form the superhighway of the French fur trade, a direct water route connecting the Great Lakes to the Mississippi River, a liquid spine running through the heart of the continent. That geography demanded a single strategic choke point, a place where all that traffic could be controlled. That choke point was Chicago. Unlike Indiana, Illinois was settled from two different directions, creating a cultural civil war within its own borders. The South was settled by the same upland Southerners who populated Indiana, creating a region culturally and politically aligned with its neighbor. The North was settled by ambitious, community-minded Yankees from New England and New York. They arrived via the Great Lakes, seeking to build a new, better version of the society they had left behind. They were planners, builders, and reformers who believed in the power of government to shape the public good. They founded towns, built schools and libraries, and most importantly, they founded Chicago. Chicago's location was everything. It sat at the southwestern tip of Lake Michigan, the natural terminus of the Great Lakes shipping route. It was the one place where the Great Lakes system came closest to the Mississippi system, a continental divide so low and swampy you could practically paddle from one to the other. The construction of the Illinois and Michigan Canal in 1848 sealed its destiny, creating an unbroken water link from New York to New Orleans, with Chicago at its heart. Railroads followed, converging on the city from every direction like spokes on a wheel, making it the undisputed transportation hub of the nation. This single city became a black hole of economic and demographic gravity. It pulled in immigrants from Europe, African Americans in the Great Migration from the South, and ambitious people from across the Midwest. It became a center of industry, finance, and culture. So powerful that it began to reshape the entire state in its own image. The rest of Illinois became a hinterland, a vast fertile agricultural plain, organized to feed and supply the great metropolis. This created a state of profound contradictions. A deep blue, urban, and globally connected north dominated by Chicago, and a deep red rural and culturally southern south. Unlike Indiana's balanced network of cities, Illinois became a state with one massive dominant head and a long, quiet tail. The political culture reflects this. Illinois politics is a constant, brutal battle between the moralistic, reform-minded, and often corrupt machine politics of Chicago and the individualistic conservative values of the rest of the state. It's a place of grand ambitions and epic failures. For every world-changing innovation like the skyscraper or the first controlled nuclear reaction at the University of Chicago, there is a story of staggering political corruption. For every globally renowned cultural institution, there are dozens of forgotten small towns with crumbling main streets. Illinois is a state constantly at war with itself. For decades, there have been serious movements in the southern and central parts of the state to break away and form a new state entirely. This internal conflict, this gravitational pull of one massive city, is something Indiana has never had to experience. Its conflicts are smaller, more local, less existential. Illinois, by contrast, lives in a state of perpetual identity crisis, defined by the tension between its global city and its vast rural heartland. The border between Illinois and Indiana is more than just a line on a map. It is a cultural and political fault line, a place where two fundamentally different Americas meet. On the Indiana side, you find lower taxes, fewer regulations, and a government that prides itself on staying out of the way. It is a place where you can buy fireworks, buy cheaper gas, and build a factory with fewer questions asked. It is a state that trusts the individual and the marketplace to solve problems. On the Illinois side, you find higher taxes, more social services, and a government that tries, however imperfectly, to solve big problems. It is a place of world-class universities, powerful unions, and a social safety net that is both more generous and more expensive. It is a state that believes in the power of collective action and public investment. This divide is not an accident. It is the direct result of two different settlement patterns, two different geographies, and two different ideas about the purpose of a state. Indiana was built to be a crossroads, a place of equals, a network of communities. Illinois was built to be a hub, a place with a clear and dominant center, a state in the orbit of a single massive star. One state looks inward to its network of towns and cities. The other looks outward from its global metropolis on the lake. Today, in 2026, this invisible line continues to shape the lives of millions. It determines the price of gas, the quality of schools, the politics of a state, and the very way people see their place in the world. It is a reminder that sometimes the most important borders are not the ones you can see, but the ones that are written in the landscape, in the rivers, and in the divergent paths of history. The story of Illinois and Indiana is a story of how two states, born from the same Midwestern soil, can grow into two different worlds, separated by nothing more than a line and everything that line represents. It is a lesson in how geography is not just about mountains and rivers, but about the flow of people and ideas. It shows how the initial choice of a river to follow, the Ohio River versus the Illinois River, could set in motion a chain of events that would create two profoundly different societies. One, a centralized state dominated by a single, ambitious metropolis, a place of global connection and internal division. The other, a decentralized state, a network of equals, a place of quiet stability and cultural cohesion. It is a story of two Americas living side by side, a testament to the enduring power of the paths we choose and the landscapes that guide us. Subscribe for more videos like this one. See you next time.